walked the streets, connected with neighbors, and we started doing ministry on our front porches and in our front yards. But as we met people and talked to them and even prayed with them, we also saw great needs. Inside of people's homes, as they welcomed us in to pray, I would see that someone's heating the whole house with their stove. Or I would see that someone has a window that's missing and is simply boarded up, or a leaky pipe. And so we realized that the scope of things that folks and families in Detroit were wrestling with was major. And so we started partnering with some other churches that believed in our vision, but began to help us try to provide some hands and feet responses to these needs we were seeing. People were skeptical of us. Skeptical because oftentimes the folks that were coming to help us meet those physical needs were white.
There's so much history of Black homeowners being displaced because of having white people in our community or taking advantage of our home ownership. So yes, people were skeptical.
Edith is an amazing sister, born and raised in the 48214.
She is deeply connected to the neighborhood. She grew up in this area, lives in her grandparents' home.
She also heard about us before connecting with us because Edith's ear is to the streets. Everybody knows Edith and Edith knows everyone. She came in a little skeptical, like, okay, I see some new life taking place, but I also see some white people. What's going on here?
Jonathan kept calling me to come to church. So I said, let me go to this church. They're getting on my nerves. They just gonna keep calling me. I'm just gonna go.
She became a part of the staff through volunteering at Mack Sports, and through connections there, we realized she had a lot more to offer than as a volunteer. She is somebody who can immediately earn the trust of the people around her and just really gather people together. And that's what she started doing very, very quickly. And she did it at a really critical time for the organization.
So a part of our hope had always been to have a nonprofit. We can't simply be a place that receives services. As a neighborhood, we have to be offering services as well. But what we did not want to do is have a nonprofit that we brought forth all the initiatives that the community needed. We wanted it to be birthed out of the community saying, here are our greatest problems. Now might you have some way to help us in that?
Detroiters yell because they keep telling you what's wrong, but you don't listen. That is why people stay angry in the Black community, because everybody thinks they know what we need, nobody asks.
Mack Development was formed in 2010, so I was the organization's first full-time executive director. I think at our church, Mack and Mack Development are like two wings on an airplane, and it really wouldn't make sense to be missing one or the other. We need both. We need a church that keeps us theologically grounded, and we need a nonprofit organization that is the hands and feet of the church, that's doing the work in lots of practical ways.
Part of our ministry philosophy is one where we saw Jesus model the beauty of proximity. His 12 disciples did life with him in proximity, in close relationship, in close connection with him. And so we believe that that's a core component of the church and of the church that we wanted to see expressed in this community. Our coffee shop laundromat was birthed out of listening to the neighborhood.
We found out they wanted a place to get fresh food or a laundromat. And we saw a concept of a laundromat and coffee shop together. So we asked our community after we saw that, what do you think it is? They said yes. Every element of this building was decided by the community, down to the murals on the wall, the murals outside, the furniture in here, how it was set up downstairs. And that really kicked it off with our community, knowing that we are here for them.
So to have a business that's bringing together those diverse communities and then have a headquarters that has literacy programming and legal clinics and office space and event space has really turned this into a place that's started to create some synergy and some momentum for the whole neighborhood.
We wanted to actually show the neighborhood and show those that are around looking for places to invest in the city. Development can happen in this community. Look at us as one model of it taking place. We're hoping that this is a domino effect that'll bring forth more development in our community.
Now, see, when I go down the street, I see our church members and new neighbors having parties together, helping somebody work on a car.
We want our problems to be the same problems as our neighborhoods and our neighbors. And that means being here for a long time doing the work as long as we can, generation after generation.
The church is a building where you go to refresh. Your ministry is outside the door of that church. When you're all freshen up, when you wake up Monday morning, it's time to go to work outside in the streets.